Great. I'd like to call this meeting to order on August 14th, 2023. First, can we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I move that we adopt the agenda.
We'll need to adopt it, removing
One item,
one item.
nature area.
So we're going to postpone, I think, the discussion of the nature area, given that Ms. Lemay is ill. So let's remove discussion on item 7A from the agenda. Okay with everybody. So could you make your motion again and exclude item 7A?
I move that we adopt the agenda, removing item 7A from the agenda at this time.
This is Katie, I second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the agenda is adopted, and I'll go ahead and identify the closed session topics of discussion. First, we have item A, closed conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. Second, item B, we have public employee discipline dismissal release complaint. Third, we have item C, conference with labor negotiators. And fourth, we have item D, conference with labor negotiators, I assume for the Orinda Education Association. Item C was for the CSEA. So with that, great. Welcome back, everyone. I don't know, there's a little reverb here.
I just have to speak that.
Okay, great. So we'll adjourn closed session and reconvene an open session. We took no action today in our closed session. So item 4C, let's rise with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. So, I hate when it does that. The first item on our agenda tonight is public comment. At a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees, the public may comment on items within the subject matter of the governing board. For items on the agenda, the public may comment at the time the board considers that agenda item. For items not on the agenda, the public may comment on item 5A, public comment. The Board of Trustees requests that individuals who would like to address the board on an item fill out a request to address the OUSD school board card and turn it into the superintendent prior to the available at the meeting. Comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes. Groups are asked to limit their comments to no more than 10 minutes. To comply with the Brown Act, the board may listen to comments from the speakers, but cannot neither, I can't see it, it keeps going away. Turn it out. Anyways, we can't comment back. Basically, the language there. So we have one public comment tonight. Mr. Danziger, if you'd like to take the podium, thank you.
Hello, members of the Board of Trustees. My name is Steve Danziger, and I'm on the Board of Directors of the Friends of the Wagner Ranch Nature Area. Not Friends of Nature Area. I'm the newest member, by the way. I came to comment on an item that's been pulled. I just found out it's been pulled, but I just want to thank you and thank the superintendent for our efforts in trying to get the nature area open. We're out there fundraising as much as we can. We have a whole dozens of volunteers ready to get in there as soon as we can, and hopefully it'll be sooner than later. I know there's a scenario for getting into the garden area first, and I'm just here to support that and hope that we can move forward and get in there hopefully in the very near future. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Steve, for coming. So continuing on, our first action item tonight is item 6A, which is the revised parcel tax independent citizens oversight committee bylaws. On March 7th, 2023, the Orinda voters approved Orinda USD parcel tax measure Z. In addition to measure Z, OUSD receives income from 2 previously approved parcel taxes, measures A and B. Parcel tax ballot language includes assurance to the public that the district will organize a parcel tax independent citizens oversight committee consisting of Orinda citizens with the purpose of providing oversight relating to the parcel tax expenditures according to the parcel tax language. OUSD currently has a committee of citizens overseeing the two measures, and staff is recommending an update to the current bylaws to include Measure Z. Once the bylaws are approved, the district will advertise committee applications. I don't know if any board members had any questions or comments on this amendment to the bylaws.
It seemed pretty straightforward and necessary.
And I see no public comment on this item, so there's no further board discussion. Would someone like to make a motion to approve item 6A?
Ms. Katie, I make a motion that we approve item 6A, approval of the revised parcel tax independent citizens oversight committee bylaws.
Is that a second?
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Terrific. So now we're on to item 6B, and I think, Brian, you're going to help us with these and
Yes,
explain them as a group, but we'll
Yes.
vote on them individually.
thank you, Vice President Hoxie. So the next 6 items are resolutions that are all somewhat related. We can couple them in that B and C are related to each other, D and E are related, and E and F and G are related. I'll go through each one, and they're fairly redundant. So Resolution 2401 it addresses the rescinding of a school vesting order that was conducted in 2018 regarding a resolution pertaining to active certificated management employees. And we're rescinding Resolution 1814 from 2018 that included a non-compliant 5-year vesting schedule. A new resolution will replace the 5-year requirement with a 10-year vesting schedule. And so what item B will do is rescind the old. Item C will replace it with a new one, which is a 10-year vesting schedule. And so we're not quite to C, but that's how it would work. So we first would rescind the old one with action, and then we would move to C to review and take action on that one. And then they work subsequently one after the other in a similar manner. This first items B and C have to do with certificated management vesting schedule, moving it from a 5-year to a 10-year, so it aligns with all other employee groups, such as certificated teachers, classified staff. Any questions?
So our certificated management, like principals,
Principals, directors, yep.
any questions?
No, thanks, Brian. I had to read through all this to get my
Stand it.
mind around it, but I got it.
So basically, we're making the vesting schedule the same for all the groups,
Correct.
and they'll all be at 10 years.
Yes, exactly. That's what all 6 of them subsequently do. And
That's what we would want.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
So item B is Resolution 2401 to rescind the prior resolution and make the correction in the next resolution.
Okay. So would someone like to make a motion to approve item B, resolution 2401?
This is Eve. I move that we approve resolution 2401.
Is that a second?
So it's a roll call.
We need to roll call. Trustee Shogan,
Aye.
trustee Phillips,
Aye.
trustee Collins-Holman,
Aye.
vice president Hoxie,
Aye.
motion carried.
Okay. So now we'll do the work on item C to put it back with the right vesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So item C is a new resolution to move from a 5-year vesting schedule to a 10-year vesting schedule for certificated management. Straightforward as that.
Great. So would someone like to make a motion on item C?
This is I move that we approve resolution 2402.
This is Katie. I second.
Okay, and votes. Ms. Shogan,
Aye.
Ms. Phillips,
Aye.
Ms. Collins-Holman,
Aye.
Ms. Hoxie,
Aye.
motion carries.
Great. All right. So D and E are for which group of employees?
So D and E are for unrepresented employees. And in a similar manner, we're going to rescind a prior resolution, which actually was a 30-year vesting schedule, and align it to the 10, similar to the other employee groups. And then we move to item E, which replaces it with a 10.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Would someone like to make a motion for item D?
This is Katie. I make a motion that we approve item 6D, resolution 2403.
This is Eve, I second.
Trustee Shogan,
Aye.
trustee Phillips,
Aye.
trustee Collins Coleman,
Aye.
vice president Hoxie,
Aye.
motion carries.
Great.
All right, and resolution E 2404 replaces that 30-year with a 10-year vesting schedule for unrepresented employees. Unrepresented employees would be such as school psychologist or program specialist, behavior specialist. It's a very small group.
This is Eve. I move that we approve resolution 2404.
This is second.
Trustee Shogan,
Aye.
trustee Phillips,
Aye.
trustee Collins Coleman,
Aye.
vice president Hoxie,
Aye.
motion carries.
Great. So F and G.
Yes, so resolution 2405, in a similar manner, it's for classified management moves it from a 5-year vesting schedule to a 10-year vesting schedule to align it with the other employee groups.
This is I move that we approve item 6F, resolution 2405.
This is Katie. I second.
Trustee Shogan,
Aye.
trustee Phillips,
Aye.
trustee Collins Coleman,
Aye.
vice president Hoxie,
Aye.
motion carries.
All right, and resolution 2406, item G, now replaces the prior resolution with a 10-year vesting schedule, from changing it from the 5.
This is Katie. I recommend that we approve resolution 2406.
This is Eve, I second.
Trustee Shogan,
Aye.
trustee Phillips,
Aye.
trustee Collins Coleman,
Aye.
trustee Hoxie,
Aye.
motion carries.
Great. Thank you,
All right,
Brian.
thank you.
We got through
We
those.
All those.
Good.
Hopefully it never has to happen again.
Well, now they're all
Yes,
lined, so that
they
should be good. All right. Item H is resolution 2407, which is the alternative certificated teacher consent. I assume this is the same we do it most years, right?
Each year, correct?
Each year.
Yes. And just continuing, alternative certification allows experienced district educators to teach courses outside of their credential areas. And this would be for current, generally OIS, leadership, makerspace, drama, debate, yearbook classes. So when a teacher is unavailable with a particular subject or content area, this resolution would allow credential teachers, with their consent, to teach outside of their credential subject area. Looking at page 2, just that we would have public speaking debate is one of the teacher consent areas, competitive debate, leadership, digital arts, yearbook, and makerspace. So those are the consent areas for teachers this year. So we ask for your support with this.
This is I move that we approve resolution 24.
This is Katie. I second.
Trustee Shogan,
Aye.
trustee Phillips,
Aye.
trustee Collins Coleman,
Aye.
vice president Hoxie,
Aye.
motion carries.
Great. Thank you. Well, that was great. Thank you. We'll move on to our discussion items. If you missed it earlier, we decided to postpone discussion item 7A, the Wagner Ranch Nature Area update, until September, when we'll have Superintendent Glimmy and Board President Wishner available to join us. So we'll start with item 7B, the summer 2023 facilities project. Mr. Watson.
Just pulling up the,
Yes.
help with that, the presentation.
Thank you, Stuart.
There we go. So we had a very busy summer, enough that I couldn't fit it all into one slide. So slide number 2, please. So this is the first part of the list. Del Rey, Glorieta, Wagner Ranch, and OIS. We were able to get in and resurface the floors of the gymnasiums as well as the NPR buildings. Glorieta, that dry rot that we had talked about in the deferred maintenance. What a surprise when we had it opened up. Major dry rot enough that I had to bring a structural engineer in to make sure that we did the repairs the way that they were intended. We did get that complete. I've got some pictures coming up. We took care of the damaged roof deck on the walkway near the NPR at Glorieta. We replaced the built-up roof on the lower portions of the NPR. The upper roof, the barrel roof, you remember the last presentation, we showed you pictures of that. The most cost-effective way to deal with that was coating it. We went over with the coating with a 5-year leak-free warranty, so we bought another 5 years at a pretty affordable price. It was half of what we had estimated
Oh, that's good.
in our budget, so that was really good. And then Glorieta, we had an ongoing issue with that's one of the Gen 7s. Had a leak, and it seemed to coincide with rains. Was it rain? Was it HVAC? We finally figured out it was HVAC. Had to tear that apart, fix it. When we did that, we discovered some issues with the compressor. Got that in and fixed. The damaged carpet around it, we removed just that section, went back with walk-off mats, so aesthetically it's pleasing, but it's also around a walkway, so it serves two functions. So
That was good.
go with that. So the next slide will show you an idea what how the gyms turned out here. I am pretty pleased. Really nice. We're extending the life out of them, so that they're all in that pretty well general condition.
It's great.
The next slide shows us the dry rot damage. So you can see that the long tall beam on the outside, we had to replace on both sides, as well as a lot of other framing members. The last picture is kind of what it looks like. Sorry, go back, Carrie.
Me.
Whoever had, sorry. The picture on the right there kind of shows the finish, what it looks like now. So it turned out very nice. The next thing that we'll do is replace the gutter that caused that damage in that schedule for this Tuesday. We're going to do that during school hours. Next slide is you remember the roof, how that looked. This is the finished look. That gray strip on the left there is a walk-off mat. We went back with a single ply roof, which can get very slick. So that's why we included the walking mats there. If we're up doing work, it's less slick, someplace to walk on. The next picture is a picture of the barrel roof with the coating. We went back with a white coating with reflective values to help with any heat issues. The fact that it's a barrel roof, it's nice because it's not reflecting in people's homes. So that's the decision we made there. And I think it turned out pretty well. So moving on, Wagner Ranch, we installed a portable building. That was part of the increased enrollment there. So we were able to get that completed. We do fire mitigation at all the schools where we have to get in and knock down all the high grass, 50-foot barrier. The seasons have changed so much that we had to go back and do it the second time at OIS. It grew back. We generally do OIS a little earlier than the other schools to make it look nice for the promotion and all that, but it's still, we still would have been back doing it twice, the way the seasons seem to have changed. Del Rey, Glorieta, Wagner Ranch, and OIS. Part of what we do is annually is steam clean all the engine hoods, get all the grease, make them safe. The positive thing there too is we identified 2 schools where there were issues with the exhaust fans. Del Rey, we had to replace it. Glorieta, we were able to make some repairs to it. So we did that.
Can I ask a question, or do I wait to the?
I'm sorry?
I was just gonna ask a quick question on the fire breaks. is like the 50-foot amount, is that set by MOFD? Is that like?
Yeah, we get they call it a pre-citation notification.
Okay, but you
Send it out
similar to
to
residents.
everybody. So it's that, and gives us an outline of what they want and what to do. We do it every year.
Yeah, the basics. Just curious who sets the numbers. Thank you.
OIS, we completed the tree work that was related to the storm back in March. If you remember the big eucalyptus tree that came down, and we made that safe. We were able to get back and finish that work, which is nice. Related to that, we took care of the fence that was damaged.
Yeah, are there a lot more eucalyptus trees?
I'm sorry?
Are there any more eucalyptus trees on the school sites?
Mhm.
Okay, great.
The nature area's got,
I know the nature area has.
Nature area.
Yeah, there are also many.
yes, we do have,
Because they're quite flammable.
even the pine trees are looking stressed. I mean, you don't have to look far to see stressed trees. And so we're trying to keep an eye on what we are seeing. Hopefully coming into the fall and winter, things will start looking better. I'm hopeful. We'll see where it's going to go.
Do we need to be inspecting more trees to, for that kind of damage? Just wondering if it's.
We can, but I mean, what we're doing is just basically keeping an eye on it based on years of experience. I don't know what it would cost to bring an arborist in and check every tree we have on every site. I don't know that's really practical or pragmatic. If there's a tree that looks in kind of sudden decline, then yes, we bring a tree company in and point them out. So the last thing we did was the fence that was damaged by the tree that came back in March. We took care of that. So the next slide is just a picture of the new portable at Wagner Ranch. So
And that's the upper playground it's sitting on?
I'm sorry?
Is that the upper playground it's sitting on?
The one to the south, I don't know, upper or lower. It's past the kindergarten.
Where the older kids play?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where it is. So I'm sure we took away a half a basketball court. So
Okay.
I'm sure that we didn't make everybody happy on that. So then we get into the bond projects.
Just wondering to see if any other board members had any questions about the facilities projects that were unrelated to bonds.
No, thank you. Amazing progress over the summer.
Yeah.
It was a busy summer.
Definitely.
Very busy summer. So the HVAC projects at Delray, Gloria, Sleepy Hollow, Wagner Ranch, and OIS. August 1st, 2023 was the completion date that they were supposed to meet. None of them met it. They went past it on all of them. The contractor has been working additional hours and days to ensure that the units will be fully functioning for the start of school, and it looks like we're going to make it.
Really?
It looks like we're going to make it, yeah.
Great news.
The only ones I know of, the Glorietta, we had issues with 2 of the rooms, and I'm assured they're coming at 5:30, and they'll have them running the way they should by the start of school.
That's great.
Those are the only 2 I know about.
Congratulations. That's a big deal. Thank you.
It's a lot of work. I'm sure we'll have some tweaking. We're in the commissioning phase now. They've all been balanced. The TAPs have been completed. So we're in the commissioning stage. GluMac, if you remember, in a previous board meeting, you approved that. So luckily they've got the bandwidth where they brought extra commissioning agents in where we are able to hit multiple sites. We didn't have to go from one.
That's good. That's good.
That really benefited us. We're setting the same schedule as we have at Wagner Ranch. So we're just kind of being uniform across the school as far as when we're starting up, trying to get them consistent. It's going to be a lot easier if we have the same start times, the same set points. 68, 72 degrees is the target,
Right.
whether we're in heat or cool.
Right.
That's what we're looking for.
I was in 2 classrooms today at Delray, and they feel great. So
Nice, huh?
yeah.
Phew.
So they all have nice new filters. They all are,
Yeah, they've all got the MERV 13s.
So do we need to do training for the teachers at all so they know how to use the thermostats in their classrooms?
That's a very good question. Yes.
Okay.
We're working on it. It's one of the issues that came up while we were trying to work out the bugs at Wagner. It's an education thing. You can go and I'm kind of cold. You want some heat, and it doesn't happen right away. There's a delay because it's pumping Freon through. a line may be cold or hot. It takes a while. It doesn't heat up like that. So a lot of it is just education to the end users. Here's how this works. Set expectations. It won't happen. So I'm working with the BlueMac to come up with some sort of consistent education that we can give
Good.
to them. So yeah, good question, and yes, we're working on that.
We're lucky this week. It feels pretty mild, but we never know when it's going to really heat up. So
Yeah. The nice thing is, we did have some hot weather while these were running.
oh, so you're going to test.
We got a pretty good feel for how they're going to perform. So
Okay.
in certain rooms that we're running, we'll put it that way.
Okay.
Is there some remote control kind of feature where you're setting all of them at a certain temperature? I'm just picturing teachers not knowing how to use these new systems, but wanting it to be,
They,
they go in the morning. Or is there a way to set it so they come on ahead of time?
there is. We have Pelican systems, so I can get on my iPhone and I can adjust rooms and all that. It's a difficult. What we're trying to work with is I don't want to lock them out completely. So that's why we're trying to work on the set points, is temperature range, allow them to do it, but they can't go and be calling for 85 degrees.
Yeah.
You can go up to 78 and do that. So that's what we're trying to work around. Yes, the answer is yes, we can do that, and we do. That's what my Alan on our crew is going to be doing tomorrow.
Okay.
So we did it today. We were kind of monitoring, but it's hard. Doors open and final cleaning. Tomorrow we'll be really getting a really good idea how things are going. The next picture is just next one's just kind of pictures. The one on the left is what the unit looks like in the middle. The picture in the middle is the exhaust of the old portable units. The one on the right are these closets that are left over with the furnace removed. We're planning to remove those during the modernizations. The OIS Student Services Building, a significant amount of work was done this summer. They are on target. They're on schedule. There was a lot of work to do as far as excavation, treating the soil, compacting, putting back. Then they had to dig it out for the footings, for the footings. Little retaining wall there. If you've been on the site lately, you'll see that they're getting ready for the slab. Back in my head, it was the 16th, so in a couple days maybe, but don't hold me to that. I don't know, but it's going to happen soon. So the focus there has been getting the site back to where it can be used, where teachers can get up to the
Parking and
all that, moving that big mound of dirt out of the way. So that's what we've been working on the last couple weeks with overall, but I'm very happy. They're very organized. Every time we have a concern or we're thinking about something, yep, we've done that. Here's what we're doing. It's not reacting. So they're really doing their best to stay in front of whatever they can. And right now they're on schedule.
that's great.
Next picture shows you those are the footings that are in. Since then, all the rebar, all that for the slab.
Spot in.
Sleepy Hollow NPR project. Again, that was supposed to be done August 1st. It was not. We did defer quite a bit of work until the following summer, and I'm awful happy we did. Thank you for voting to do that. That helped a lot. It looks like we will have that open for the start of school. The last kind of pieces to the pie there were ensuring that we get the occupancy from DSA, which we do have with a couple. You got to do this. Tomorrow, we have the final health inspection coming in. We had a provisional, so we were okay to open there, but we took care of the things that didn't get done, and no problem there. The last thing would be the wheelchair lift. We're at the state's mercy on that. That's happening tomorrow morning before the start of school, and we're ready for them there too. So we will be good. The plaza in front of the building is complete. The picnic benches have been delayed. There's back order. I'm not sure what's happening there. So we went up to the upper picked the best benches we could, drop them down, clean them, so they do have picnic benches. Those are just temporary.
That's good.
ADA compliant elevator's been installed. The plastering, the outside wall is not painting, it's actually plastering the final coat. We should be able to safe that off, get the scaffolding and do that during school. So that some of that work will happen during school to get that 100% complete. The old NPR building was demolished. Upper parking lot was temporarily expanded, so we did a little bit of work up there. So we're ready.
That helped the turnaround situation.
Yeah, they're not going to be dropping off up top now. That's where they did last year, but
Don't they snake up there, come down,
sneaking up and around and coming.
off, go around?
Exactly what they're going to do. It's going to be one big trail because
It gives them more room, but it gives them more room so there's less traffic out on Washington Lane.
exactly.
And was it okay with the big East Bay mud pipe and the trucks? And
That was a lot of fun.
I have being a little
What
sarcastic.
a challenge.
Yeah,
What a challenge that was to do, but we made it. It's
Yeah.
done. It's connected.
and
We have-
streets put back together. Are the neighbors still okay?
The neighbors, according to East Bay Mud, the people I talked to were fantastic. They really supported it. They were really good. That whole lane is going to get resurfaced.
Oh, good.
They're looking for a day to do it when there's no school. They were looking at Columbus Day, I think it was
Yep.
October 10th, something like that. But their teachers are still there, so we're still going to need access. So I think they'll probably be looking for another day to try and do that. So I don't know that that's viable.
And a related question to that, as long as you're talking East Bay Mud, do you know when the city is planning to resurface Minor Road after East Bay Mud has finished the Minor Road work? Because that's also right where the school
The
buses,
city,
because that's a city project to
Yeah.
now resurface.
I don't know.
That's Minor. You might
But
just
we
want to
should-
check in on that.
We should add that to our discussion for the
Yeah,
2x2
which
because
is- Yeah, being canceled for this week.
Yeah.
Next month.
we can reach out
Yeah.
to the city. Maybe I'll make a note to talk to Aida about that.
Yeah, just to put that on the list.
yeah, it's a little bumpy out there. Yeah, so I don't know. So the next slide is just pictures. The one on the left is what the interior of the NPR looks like.
It's nice. Is
That's
the
great.
classroom aspect on the stage going to be ready for music classes? And
Everything's moved up there. They're going to take this week to figure out where they want to put it. So we had everything, the contents stored in a 40-foot container on site. That was all unloaded last Wednesday. It's up on the stage. So it's really just trying to, you're going from a building to a stage. How do we make this work? So they're going to try and be well thought out and methodical how they do it. So that's the plan there.
That's amazing.
And do the like tables and chairs will pull out for the kids to eat lunch?
Yep.
The food service is going to be able to use the kitchen.
EXO's been out there. They're kind of in awe of what a nice big kitchen they have.
That's great.
They're planning on being out there.
We can make great food for our kids then.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, everything's just down to the wire, but it's looking like we're going to be there.
Great job.
Amazing.
One quick question on the outside wall facing the parking lot still looks kind of unpainted, like there's this, is that just, I think it's just something.
Nope, that's going to be a mural. That was a school site wish to do a mural. They were going back and forth as to do we paint it? Is it going to be tile? So the principal's working. I'm not sure if it's committee what she's got going there. So it's prepped to accept tile. It's cement board that's up there now, and it's going to be very easy for whoever puts up that mural. If it's a tile mural, it's ready to go. It doesn't look like much.
No, yeah, I think
Looks
the big
unfinished,
sign
yeah.
to cover.
They put some big signs up there now. Welcome to Sleepy Hollow. Looks great. So there's your update.
Great.
Great job. Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you. That Sleepy Hollow it's going to be amazing. So I have a fifth grader going there tomorrow, so I can't wait for the reviews.
Yeah.
Lunch is like, all of that. And you have a few going there tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be some hiccups and adjustments, but overall,
Thank you.
I'll be out there tomorrow myself.
But it's very exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great to have a new building opening.
It's fun.
And we talked to Aida about some sort of ribbon cutting maybe in
Yeah.
September, but nothing has been planned with Patsy and the school site yet. So we're working on that is my understanding.
Yeah.
Sound right to you? Yeah,
Fun.
that's great. All right, next item, unless there's more questions or discussion or public comment on any of these items. Do you have cards?
I'll address my report.
Aren't there cards back there?
He'll do it in his report.
Oh, we'll do it in your report. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. Okay. Moving on then. The summer school report. So I think
Hi.
Dr. Neerheim is going to do that for us. Thank you.
Well, it was another successful summer. And we held it at Wagner Ranch. And this year we had all 3 programs at Wagner Ranch, and that was really exciting. And the ELD program was extended to match the same amount of time as the intervention program and the extended school year program. So all 3 programs ran for 20 days, 4 weeks. Thanks, Brian. We offer an intervention program for kindergarten through 7th grade. Because intervention, once you are promoting from 8th grade, you are finished.
Ceremonies intervention.
Correct. However, in extended school year, those students are ours through the extended. It extends the year by 20 days.
Got it.
And then the English language development program served, I think it was a smaller group of students. So it was anybody K through 8 who chose to come, invited and who chose to come. So as I said, it was located at Wagner Ranch. Do you mind advancing? Thank you. And the intervention program was English language arts or mathematics. Those are the only 2 subjects. ELA was first, 8:30 to 10:15. With a 15-minute break, and then math was 10:30 to 11:45. Some of the students did just English language arts, some just did math, and some did both. And I apologize, I don't have the breakdown of that at my fingertips, but we could get you that information later if you wanted it. We had 7 teachers. We had 8 aides. We did have a large number of students that had academic aides in IEPs, which I'd like to explain. So there are students who don't qualify for extended school year. They have IEPs, but they don't meet the criteria for extended school year, but they still were recommended for intervention. So we went ahead and honored that aid support in their IEP so that they could be successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we want to get the most out of those 20 days. Right? So we want to make sure they have the support that they might need. And we had 94 students this year.
Right. How does that compare to last year?
97 last year.
Okay, so similar.
So excited I looked that up.
I was going to ask.
I did know. I was ready. Good night. So on it. If we could go to the next slide, please. So the intervention recommendation process came from teachers, and they used Fontes and Pinnell scores and Acadian scores, and then they used STAR scores for math as a guide for their recommendations. Next slide, please. Now extended school year. We had the same place. We had 14 students this year, which was 10 less than last year. And part of the reason that I suspect that is because we really use the forms that are in our program called SACE, which is what we build everybody's IEP in. And there were forms to help determine eligibility for ESY. And we just made sure that everybody used the form on any student that we thought might be eligible. And I think it helped us refine and define students who actually meet that criteria. We had 2 teachers. Very exciting that we had Sandra Erickson, who runs our special day class at Wagner, but we also had Laura Stepp, who is our new instructional support program person at the middle school. So she worked ESY and she's starting at OIS in 13 hours.
There we go.
And okay, that's all I have for that one. Do we have any questions so far? Okay. The ESY recommendation process, as I said before, is any student, we use these forms to help determine any student who would regress without the ability to recoup their learning, without these extra 20 days of school. It is a very small population of our students who meet that criteria. Then our English language development program, they focused on language development with group activities and social development. There was one teacher and one aide. They served 12 students. And something that I feel really proud of is one of the students who was in the ELD program was also in the ESY program. And because we were all at one site, we were able to do some sharing, which I think really benefited that student. And so it gave us a lot of flexibility. And Tabitha ran that program. She's our ELD teacher. She gave an awesome presentation last year.
She did.
Remember, she's incredibly enthusiastic. And so we got to have her expertise over summer.
Oh, that's great.
It was great.
That's great.
ELD recommendation process, teacher input and recommendation in conjunction with the students from the English language development teacher's caseload. So she looked at the kids she already had on her caseload to make the determination of who might want to participate, and then students always have the option to participate or not.
Great.
The benefits from summer programs are the small class size for the academics. The social emotional well-being was a focus always, you know. Summer is great. Summer is fun, right? It really lowers the level of anxiety for a lot of students. It's light, it's fun. There's popsicles.
Popsicles always.
Just one day, just one day. It was only one day, but they were great. And the ESY is IEP driven, and it gives students some additional practice, regardless of which program they're in. All three programs provide additional practice for our students. And with that, are there any questions?
Great. Any feedback from parents or, you know, on how well those students did or have they progressed or?
That's a great question. I will need to check in with Geeti Esfant to see if she did a feedback form for parents. I actually don't know that off the top.
Okay, no
of my
worries.
head.
Yeah.
For ESY, that's not something we do because it's just part of the regular school year. And then I can also check in with the ELD to see if
That would be great.
that was done as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Who was the principal this year?
We had it split between Megan Natal and Michelle Penny.
Oh, great.
So the two of them shared it
Shared it together.
That's great.
and did a beautiful job.
It's great.
And kind of similarly to that, you mentioned some of the tools that you use for testing. Like, do they look at the results of the testing? Is there sort of like a before and after? Is not enough time where you can expect that we can look at an aggregate, or is it
Okay, so I'm going to defer to Mr. Shannon, if that's okay, because he was on, for ESY, no.
Okay.
For ELD, probably not, because it's more of a social. It's more that they're practicing language and their social exchanges in English. But for the intervention program, Mr. Shannon, thank you so much.
Yeah, I had the first seat going into the second, but I was there lots of hours. I want to say thank you, Carrie Nurheim, Dr. Nurheim. It was an amazing program this year. I've been in all of the past 3 programs, and just everything went extremely well. We had a pre-assessment. We did look at their data because that was sent to us. We reviewed that. We did the pre-assessment for ELA and math, and then we did a post-assessment, and we provided the feedback to our parents. I had people reach out to me and say their kids loved coming to summer school. They saw an improvement. They were so appreciative of the district offering this to them. I've done summer schools in my 34 years, and I will say this is really, really well done with great direction from our co-principals, and I want to say they were amazing. It was nice also to have ELD there. Tabitha or Ms. Langman was there with me. And it was just great to connect with her, talk about students. I had some students that she was working with. Having everybody on the same campus really does help with that sharing. And then the kids love to see each other. So just have everyone there. It's not like mainstreaming, right? Like everyone's together. It was really brilliant. So thank you, Carrie, for bringing everyone together and housing them at the same site. So appreciate it.
I
And
appreciate it.
Carrie came many, many times. And that's one thing I'd say is, and we have the director coming to check in with us. So you really showed like how important it is and checking in on us and helping us maybe too. I had 2 aides in my classroom, I will say, wow, they were amazing. They really helped out. Every year we asked for help. Carrie, gives us the help that we need. So it's really a supportive program. And I want to thank the board for supporting this program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Charles.
My question was exactly Eve's about measuring the growth and achievement over the course of the summer. So it sounds like parents were provided it. I guess the last question, I'm sure I already know the answer, I think, was that information then shared with the teachers that are now going to have these kids in their classroom in terms of they were in my program and this is where what you noticed? Yeah, where we left off, which was not long ago.
That's a really great question. I think that's something for next year. We need to let folks know. I didn't personally do that. It's a great idea. I didn't think about that. So that's great. Let's add that to the list for things for next year.
Right now.
Yeah, great suggestion.
And again, I apologize for not having more of the details about the intervention piece. 3 distinct programs run differently. We will get that information to you. But I do also want to echo that having the 3 programs on one campus is so beneficial for our students.
That's great.
Sounds like it was very successful and great. Thank you for working the program this summer and for coming and explaining it to us. Appreciate it a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles.
Okay, so moving on to our start of year student enrollment, and I think I'll go by,
I will.
or you will. Okay.
I will be going.
Thank you,
to that
Brian.
Enrollment information.
Great.
All right. So the student enrollment is monitored carefully district-wide. It affects staffing and has significant facility implications.
Yes, it does.
Class sizes are monitored and bounced across all school sites within the district. And a majority of the students enroll while school is in session. District tends to have small increase in student enrollment during the summer. Summer 2023 reflected higher than our usual enrollment. And we welcome all new students no matter what the enrollment time is, but late enrollment can present challenges to our facilities and our staffing since a lot of those decisions are made in the spring. So the start of the year enrollment, as we look here, we are at 23-24, we're at 2,566. So we're about 44 up from our projection, which was in spring, and 50 up from a year ago. And so we're talking with Mika earlier today. We were smiling as to how unusual that is because lots of districts are definitely declining and we continue to continue to increase. We're virtually at where we were in pre-COVID times, which is great. And as you can see from the graph here, the prior 5 years to that, we're always 25, 40-ish up to 25, 50, 60 or so. And so it's nice to be up back to that level. And as TK expands, again, next year, one few more months, we'll have another collection of young 4-year-olds coming in.
Do you know how much of this expansion is attributable to TK?
We'll look at our next slide here.
Okay, good. Sorry to rush.
That's okay. We do have TK on our prior list here. On our next list, excuse me, our forthcoming slide. So as we look at start of the year enrollment at just the elementary schools, we're here at 1,742, and our projection was 1,699. So 43 students are accounted for in the elementary level of the 44 above the projection, and so that's probably TK-ish coming in. And as we move through here to the next start of the year elementary schools, we're at 117, and as that window expands, we will again capture more 4-year-olds coming in, and you can see how those bubbles work through the grade levels. Especially at the elementaries, when we look at the 2nd and 3rd, 4th graders, woohoo! As they move up to middle school, will be that bubble will move through. And when we move to our next slide here, tell me if I'm going too fast. You want me to review. We'll look at our OIS slides. And here we're at 6th grade, 270, excuse me, 7th grade, 284, 270 8th grade. So we have that small bubble in 7th grade, and those 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders will be coming through and creating hopefully a continued increase. OIS has been up at a maximum of about 900 in the past, prior to COVID and prior to COVID. So now we're looking at 824. And with that, monitoring, we made minor revisions to school boundaries during 23-24. If you recall, the effects of the boundary revisions are monitor and ensure appropriate enrollment across the schools. Wagner Ranch is now our largest elementary school. Annual data verification, the first week attendance is utilized. So can't wait we're here on first day of school eve, and we'll see what it looks like tomorrow and through the next several days. We want to ensure the accurate start of the beginning of the year enrollment. And annual enrollment update and projections are presented to the board again in March.
Right.
So we're fortunate to be one of the districts with any increase is great. And so we're excited about that. Any questions?
So it looks like the TK numbers are low compared to the kindergarten numbers, and is that because we expect more kindergartners to enroll?
As we open the window of eligibility time,
Okay,
that will increase the pool that we can select from.
okay,
I remember that demographic survey that we did showcasing the gradual increase. So interesting to see what it really is.
You would still expect some families to choose preschool over TK and then enroll as kinder, right?
Right.
Possibly.
But it really has affected the preschools in the area
Yes.
where they don't have enough kids
Yes. Yeah.
as they come into our schools. Yeah. And the same thing with our staffing. You know, we have just a single TK at Wagner Ranch. The others have double at least. So we'll see how that looks next year at Wagner Ranch.
Well, then that
So
creates a
window
space
increases.
issue.
It certainly does. Quite a challenge.
So this was, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember from when we talked about it last time, the smaller class at Wagner Ranch. Did we just, intentionally push kids to other schools?
Yeah.
Keep that to one classroom. Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
for the space issues. And then new conversation probably coming up in the next few months as to how to handle that with our growing enrollment in our facilities.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Any other
Too bad
questions?
The governor didn't tell us about TK before we started our bond projects, but okay.
As well, yeah.
And any other questions or thoughts on the enrollment? Okay, great. But that's just discussion. So let's move on to Ms. Arborwide and the enacted state budget. Thank you.
Thank you. So the 23-24 adopted budget was adopted June 12th. But in reality, the budget was created middle of May, beginning of May to middle of May, that was finalized. And that was before the state budget was enacted. Now it's enacted, and if the difference or increase or decrease is significant, then we will do the 45-day budget revision. Significant meaning like 10% of our budget. So for us, it's about 4 million. The budget enacted did not make that big of a difference. Next slide, please. So I listed out the big ones. Well, there are several proposals, and it was implemented and it was changed. But main thing is the quota, 8.22%. It didn't change. They didn't decrease it or anything. It was the same. LCFF equity multiplier, they lowered the threshold from 90% of socioeconomically disadvantaged kids to 70%. But still, it doesn't affect Orinda special ed and other categorical program that will get 8.22% quota. And the biggest one for us is arts, music, and instructional material block grant. The reduction was, we were told it would be like 50%, but actually it ended up being 5 to 6%, which is a significant difference. It's about 800,000. Yeah, that was a great news. It was 800,000 and now it's 90,000 decrease. Another one, learning recovery emergency block grant. We thought we would have about 1/3 cut, but instead it's 14.4%. So this gave us about 40,000 more.
Good news too.
Next slide, please. So this is the state fund model, and some of them don't involve Orinda, like necessary small school, that's more like high school thing. So we receive the base and the grade span adjustment for K3. And then we receive supplemental grant. We don't receive concentration grant.
Right.
The transitional kindergarten, this is what we receive. The second one from the top, TIIBG, this I believe we were not receiving it back in 12-13, so we are not receiving any supplemental. Home to school, we receive 60%, but not like other districts. They are receiving some of the amount that they were receiving back in 12-13, and we don't have it, but we still receive 60%.
And we use that for special ed.
Yes, yes. So overall, the enrollment, when we have the official enrollment, October CBETS, and when we have that, we will adjust LCFF funding, which will be, I'm sure, different from these numbers. The enrollment I looked at 2 weeks ago is different from today. So we kind of need to wait for everything to settle down and how it comes out in October. Next slide, please. So I listed some funding that Orinda receives. Left side is ongoing, and the right side is one time, and that has expiration date. I'm not going to go through each one of them, but I thought it was kind of helpful to see what is one time, what is ongoing. Next slide, please. So now we are working on closing 22-23 book, balancing everything, and after we close, we know what the ending fund balance is, which becomes beginning fund balance for 23-24. Then we will have a better picture of our first interim will look like. Another actual will be brought to the board September 11th. And then we will have the audit. Audit is ongoing. They had a spring visit and we are still working with them, but they will have October final visit. And that will be brought back to the board December or January. And then first interim will be presented to you December 11th. Is there any questions?
Well, thank you for this, Mika.
Yeah.
Not losing as much money in those block grants is great.
Yes, it is.
Take away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, thank you.
It sounds like between the additional enrollment and not losing those block grants, make it a little easier because we probably have a deficit from last year, right?
Yes. So that will give a little more money in the unrestricted side.
Which is good.
That's great.
Thank you so much. Is there any public comment on this? We all good? Okay. Just checking. So the last is the legal services update. And again, I think Mika, you can provide that for us.
Oh, yes. So This is quarterly report. And we actually had less than, well, I shouldn't say expected, but legal cost was in special ed, I found it was less. And sorry, I was not.
Hey,
But
we got a shout out for you. Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Can I ask a question on this slide? Because I was trying to understand, I'm just gonna stand up because otherwise it's too hard. But this row, this one,
yes,
figure out what it summed up because it doesn't connect to the numbers above, or at least I couldn't figure out.
so the first three row, the blue part, that's the total.
Look at your numbers.
Yeah, and then the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and the bottom blue line, and the white part is fourth quarter. The total is
The line.
where you pointed out.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out, is like, just to use the last one, the 44 plus 88 plus 35 plus 54 doesn't, it's like half of that, but it's not 390. So sorry, like these numbers, 128 and 5, you're not definitely 2430.
Okay,
So just trying to figure out.
can I get back?
Yeah, sure, no, I figured it was totally just a spreadsheet, Megan, I just wanted to make sure I understand what you were trying to tell me. But I think the big important thing here, right, is that we're actually much lower on,
Special ed.
really on special ed, but a bit higher on general, more than a bit, but yeah.
And I know Superintendent Gumi is working on training and other measures with staff to try to reduce expenditures on the more general items. Anything else on this item? Okay, great. So that moves us into measure and E&I implementation. Mr. Watson.
The first one on the agenda is the topographical survey. The modernization is in DSA for review, specific to Del Rey Elementary School. DSA had some comments related to that regarding accessibility. So there's a need for some more topographical survey required to get them that information. That's what this is. So that's what we're looking for approval on.
And we've had to do this for each school site so that we can then move forward with the DSA proposal for the modernization for each school site.
Give them what you think they need. They want a little bit more than you.
Give it to them.
It's actually kind of better than overkilling if you think giving them
Right,
things that they don't need and paying for it. So.
right. So I assume you need an action to approve.
Yes, please. I'm sorry. Yes, my bad.
Oh.
So we're hoping that the board will approve this, please.
This is Katie. I make a motion that we approve the additional topographic survey needed for the Del Rey modernization project.
This is Ed, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. That motion carries.
Okay, so the next one on the agenda here, because the MPR project has gone past its original construction, there's a need for more inspections. So we have their IOR, Inspector of Record, who works with DSA to make sure that everything's done. We're going to need to extend that. We've come up with an estimate. They're looking at about another 4 months. The nice thing is they're billed hourly. So we're just trying to come up with the estimate there. So it's for an additional $48,000 for that. So we'd like the board's approval on this as well, on their proposal to extend the IOR services for the MPR project.
So if that's because of the contractor's delay, is there any way to get the contractor to pay for it?
Looking into that, yeah.
Good.
That was my question.
Some of it's, anything left over would go toward the deferred work that we're doing next summer. We haven't got there yet, but yes, that's definitely something that I'm trying to track. Mm-hmm.
Makes sense to me.
Yep. We'd like approval on that, please.
Well, and the Inspector of Record Services have been really important, it seems like.
Yeah, and we have a good one on there too. He does his best to keep the project moving along where he can, but also really good accountability
Right.
for the
Right.
contractor. He holds their feet to the fire when needed. So I really like this IOR.
It's really important. Great. Any other questions? Is there a motion?
This is I move that we approve extending the agreement with NWC and Associates to provide inspector of record services for the City Hall NPR.
Great.
This is Eve, I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you. All right, moving on to the Deco Tech proposal.
Yes, so speaking of the Sleepy Hollow NPR, the NPR will need a projector system, ceiling mounted. And so we received a couple competing quotes, and the Deco Tech proposal was the winning quote. And so in the interest of time, trying to get it online as soon as possible, we moved forward with Deco Tech. And so we're seeking retroactive approval.
I think that was necessary in order to get it up and running by tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we
Well,
appreciate
I
you
mean,
doing that.
Still not done.
as it played out, they need Sossel to install the projector, the mount itself, the actual.
So it's not really going to be ready tomorrow.
I'll be ready
tomorrow, but nevertheless, it has been helpful to get it in the pipeline.
Okay. Great. Got to keep things moving forward, right?
This is Eve, I move that we approve the Deco Tech proposal for the Sleepy Hollow NPR projector.
This is Katie, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. On to McPeak Electric.
So as you know, we this summer we did a whirlwind network and PA upgrade at 4 of the sites, Delray, OAS, Sleepy Hollow, and Wagner Ranch. Sleepy Hollow's project was known to be, it was known that it was going to be the most complicated, the most comprehensive network upgrade. And with the upgrade, we encountered a couple challenges during the course of the summer. So the next two proposals are retroactive approval requests for a couple of projects that were necessary to keep the network project going. One of them was a conduit project on the rooftop of the NPR. And the other is the next one is a proposal for power for the IDF rack, because we reconfigured the IDF and the MDF, which are the infrastructure of the network. So those are those two proposals.
And were you able to get the new PA system in place?
Yes, so amazingly, IT management, I can't speak highly enough of them. They moved really, really quickly. We're very responsive. We're very nimble in terms of pivoting to the conditions at the sites, all of which, as you can imagine, are quite different given the age of the buildings and the condition of the network. So we expect to have and have been testing the PA system with the plan to run it tomorrow.
Oh, that's great.
All calls are working. Staff have been trained on the basics of the system, and as the course of the year plays out, we're going to be adding more features and get more granular with it. But for tomorrow, we have bells and we have all calls able to be run. The speakers are nice and loud and clear. Debbie Wong gave us the okay.
That's great.
Tested it at her site this morning, so.
It looks great.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's a great safety upgrade. So
Yes.
that's really important.
Right, and yeah, and we're looking forward to completing the project next summer at Gloria.
That's great. Any other thoughts or questions? All right, so first we have the McPeak Electric proposal for the rooftop conduit. We just do them one at a time, I guess.
Sure.
Yep. You want that one, Abe?
Sure. This is Eve. I move that we approve the McPeak Electric Inc. proposal for the rooftop conduit.
Katie, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. So now we're on to E, the McPeak Electric proposal for power for IDF rack.
This is Katie. I make a motion that we approve the electrical upgrade for the IDF rack by McPeak Electric.
This is I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great.
The next one is, again, part of the network PA system upgrade. So at some of the sites, what they were finding is that they needed to break the the devices, that is to say the speakers, into separate groups. And so IT management did what is called reconfiguring of the VLAN, the virtual local area network, so that the devices could function as expected and not overburden them.
This is Etta. I move that we approve this upgrade.
Great.
This is Katie, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. On to G, AT&T application for custom work at Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, this is related to the new NPR project. Part of that project are the electrical upgrades. This work was necessitated, the work necessitated installation of a new power pole. So PG&E's completed their work. They have all their stuff on the new pole, moved over the building. The
Right.
pole still has AT&T's stuff on it. So
I
this, we need to get their stuff off that pole and then the pole removed. So it kind of works the last person on the pole gets rid of it. So this work includes that as well. So we're looking for approval to get AT&T out there to get their stuff off the old pole, the new pole, and remove the old pole.
Will that cause a shutdown of services for any period of time?
It should not. It will be scheduled around the school. It shouldn't be any disruption.
That's good.
This is Etta. I move that we approve the custom work at Sleepy Hollow.
This is Katie, I second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. And that brings us to our board policies. Usually we have like a whole section of board policies. Tonight, we only have one. What?
Next.
Next month, there's going to be a lot. But this month, we only have one. Oh, good. I don't know if anyone had any questions about it or discussion, or if we should just go ahead and approve it. These come to us from,
School boards, yes,
School
ma'am.
boards,
Okay, yeah.
CCA, and so we just kind of try routinely to keep up with them.
Great.
No questions, this one made sense.
Okay, is there a motion to approve board policy AR 5144.1?
This is Katie, I make a motion that the board approve revised regulation AR 5144.1.
This is Eve, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes unanimously as well. Which brings us to communications and announcements. Mr. Shannon. Welcome back.
I'm Charles Shannon, President of the Orinda Educators Association. I just start out by saying this is how a team works together. It's just amazing. Starting from summer school, what a wonderful kickoff. We had 4 amazing weeks. I really appreciate again Dr. Nurheim for all her work, the wonderful teachers that we had. It's nice to have some teachers from Orinda and some teachers who get a look at Orinda, because maybe they'll come to Orinda someday. So that's kind of a cool thing. Just everything that ever director, I want to say for Mr. Cutler, we had summer committee work, did a brilliant job. It's not easy, you know, you've got teachers with different ideas, and he really is able to bring us all together. We did some amazing committee work, and I just want to thank you for that. And Geeti also, our director of curriculum, was integrally involved as well, and just did an amazing job. Then for our training, our PD, again, Kevin was instrumental in the Aries training. We got so much out of that. Not easy, right? New technology, we've got people at different levels helping us with get on with passwords and orienting new teachers. And you can just imagine how chaotic it is. And Kevin does just an amazing job keeping this cool and really helping us. You know, we've got one director doing a huge technology job, but I want to say that, you know, we're all being patient because we realize if we were the one person in charge of all technology in the entire district, it would just be completely overwhelming. And I want to say thank you. And I know how hard Kevin works. And he always puts out these messages like, you know, hang in there, I'm your safety net, we're working on it. And that's really, you know, we got some messages today, and it's nice to know that we too want grace, you know, in the classroom from our parents. And sometimes we put out those messages like, it's coming, wait, you know. So thank you so much, and we know it is coming. But because of all the work we did this summer and so much going on, it's a lot. It's a lot, especially when you're one person. Dr. Watson, I just got to say, or Stuart Watson, I just got to say, thank you so much. The incredible work that you were doing throughout the entire district. I saw you in summer school walking around. I was at Glorieta sometimes, saw you walking around with Aida. It's just incredible how much work got done. And I know it kind of pushes up to the end, but again, we give each other grace because it's a tremendous amount of work to take on these facility projects. And yes, it did go over, but what we got, I mean, I've been doing this for about 16, 18 years. And I will say we have tried so hard to get air conditioning into our room, and we made it happen because of the generosity of the Orinda parents passing the bond. I can't tell you, I actually had tears in my eyes when I got to my room, not knowing the air was on. And I went, wow, it's like 105 degrees. That's cool in here. What's going on? Turn around, my air conditioner is working. And I was just thinking of all those years and how hard we all worked over multiple boards over time. Amazing direction from superintendents. We knew we were going to get there someday. What a perfect year to get there. When we look at the weather reports, we know we done good. We did it. And I just want to say that I thank every parent I see and say, thank you. This was so timely. I mean, I know we've had other years with crazy weather, but we're really seeing it now. And it's, we have to transition. One thing Aida was saying during our PD days is things are changing and we have to be willing to transition. It's a new world. And because of the foresight of the board, planning for the bond, thank goodness we did that, and teachers were on board. We're like, yeah, we have to do it. And it's perfect timing. And Mr. Belby, I want to say that I could follow your slides. You showed it all. I mean, I'm like, okay, there might be hope for me to understand. I was looking at that and I go, I'm starting to get it. Thank you. I'm like a tier 2 learner when it comes to budgets. So thank you so much. Just incredible. I saw you at PD days and I saw Ms. Shogun at PD days, and thank you so much for all that support. Seeing you there and seeing what we're learning, I appreciate that. And again, thank you, Dr. Nurheim, as always. Angel Source is always behind the scenes, right, doing amazing jobs. But I want to say, like every time I talk to parents, I had my IA come in today, and he said, "Hi, I'm your IA," and I said, "You're my co-teacher. Our parents see you as like another teacher in the room, and I want you to feel good about that." And he said to me, "I'm going into teaching, and I'm working on my coursework." And I said, "Anything you need, any help you need, I'm your guy." So I want to say we inspire our IAs to maybe consider becoming teachers or whatever it is. And it's a beautiful thing. And I think that's what we do. We help people grow. AIDA helps people grow leadership. Teachers help grow teachers. Because we know with the teacher shortage, we have to. It's a crisis. This brings me to Dr. Inglesby. I can't imagine life this summer. The amazing amount of hiring processes. I was involved in one, and I'm like, I don't know how you did it. But we were staffed, and that's unheard of. I mean, I'm talking to my colleagues, presidents in other East Bay school districts, and they're worried they don't have all their positions staffed. And I say it's because we have Dr. Inglesby.
And a village.
And a village, right? And a village, right? So the new teachers, when I did the new teacher orientation with Catherine and the rest of my leadership, I will say, I am so excited. We have some amazing new teachers. Well, they're all amazing, right? And that's because of our hiring process. And we really do find the best. Thank you. I appreciate it. Which brings me to the work that OEA does. I told our new teachers that this is the district to come to because we have a partnership. We work together. We acknowledge each other's strengths and we work together on building, on solutions. And it's really a positive relationship. And some of the new teachers came up to me afterwards and said, "That's so different than where I come from." And I said, "But we pride ourselves on that because education is built on relationships." And I got so many people signed up that day, and they said it's because they want to work with their district and feel like we're working together. And that really starts at the top. It starts with the superintendent setting that expectation that we're really going to work together, and we work through the tough times. And yeah, it's us. And Brian at the PD kept saying, in OUSD we have the U and the S in the middle because it's us that really do it. It's everyone. And we see that also in our leadership too. No one person can do this work alone. It's magical, but it's not easy, right? And I look across the room and I see all of us wear multiple hats, doing so many different things. I was at school today and I opened up my classroom because I like to be able to meet the parents, not wait to back to school night. Kids were coming in and they were super excited. And the parents were like, "This is amazing." And I said, "You just wait. You think this is amazing? You wait till your kid comes to school tomorrow. The next day, it's going to build." And that excitement is going to show you why Orinda is a destination. It's the place to come because of what we do together. So I just want to say hats off to Dr. Glemmy for setting the example. All of our directors who continue to set that example. It always trickles down, and what we do trickles back up. So we're constantly percolating. Thank you so much. That's why I've always stayed in the district. People always ask me, what's your goal in 5 years? I said, my goal is to be a happy teacher and be in a place that supports me. And this is my 18th year here in Orinda, or 19th year in Orinda of a 34-year. Never been in a school district this long. I was in Blair for 8. And it's because how I feel when I'm here. I really feel it's a great place where I get support. And I tell people that. And I think that's why we don't have as many issues attracting. And also I want to say that because of the parcel tax and generosity of the parents again, we are really starting to increase how we attract teachers and staff. And that's a very important thing. And again, that's something that our parents gifted us that we will never take for granted. That is such a special thing that we're able to do in Orinda because everybody really embraces education as the important thing, brings this community together. So I want to, I know I might have parents watching. Thank you so much from the teachers. Our priority are our students, just like the priority of everyone in this room and everyone else who's not here tonight. It's our kids that count, and we want the best for that. So appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And
oh, one thing, the new principals.
Yes.
Thank you. I work with the amazing Megan Natal. A fabulous kickoff to the school year. We've got Ashley, who I adore. Was so sad to see her go from math, but she's our associate principal and perfect. And I have the name here at Wagner Ranch. I call it Eric. Something like that, right?
Yes.
I was talking to him the other day, and some teachers said, thank you. He's just done a fabulous job. So we really love that we have a strong administrative group, new folks coming in, growing some of our own, which teachers love to see because we know them well and they know our district. So thank you to everyone that was involved in that process. We really look forward to working with our new principals. So I had to say that. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Shannon, and welcome to the new school year. Looking forward to it being a great one. Are there any cabinet updates?
Yes, Kevin is going to provide.
Sure. In addition to the network and PA upgrade, we had as Charles mentioned, we had our PD days on this past Thursday and Friday, covering a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just going to go back through the schedule just to pick out a couple of things that we did. We worked with the teachers, the elementary teachers, on report cards, showed them the latest version after many rounds of revisions, and they gave us feedback, which we're going to go forward and implement and roll out the report cards in areas in trimester 1. So the purpose is kind of twofold. It's a chance to really embrace the essential standards, and also to consolidate the number of portals that teachers and parents are expected to manage. So if we're driving all of our traffic to areas in terms of data confirmation, report cards, grades, all the other really critical functions of the district, we feel like that's to our advantage. We had phonics training as well. So 95% came out and did training with the K through 3rd grade teachers, which was very successful. We are ready to implement phonics instruction starting tomorrow. We had a bunch of different SPED and student services sessions that maybe Ms. Nierheim or Dr. Nierheim will share with us when she does her updates. What else did we have? We had, and we also had sessions for grade level collaboration and department collaboration, which is really critical at this time of year to get the year started right, to make sure that everybody is ready for the coming weeks of school, which are really that critical period of building camaraderie and your class culture, but also implementing curriculum. On Friday, we had our whole district classified and certificated session where Aida kicked off the school year with her welcome message. We met all the new hires, which was very exciting. We had Aries gradebook come out, and they trained us on both on the elementary gradebook and report cards, as well as OIS, which, as you know, with school going away, we are transitioning to Google Classroom plus Aries as our Google Classroom is our learning management system, and Aries is our public face for parents to check grades. So that was a great opportunity for us to kick off that process. And just had the opportunity to hold their staff meetings, their kickoff staff meetings for the year, which all went really well. So it was a very productive couple of days.
Great.
I'd like to give a shout out to our custodians and the maintenance crew. Even fully staffed, we are understaffed. The work that they were able to do during all the construction chaos, speaking into rooms and shampooing and doing what they could, being able to adapt. When we had a shortage at one school, even, it's been happening all summer, but even in anticipation of school, the first week, I'm having to pull from one school to another. It's almost like playing chess with a couple board pieces missing. It's been a challenge. They're very adaptable. They're working as a team. They're truly helping each other out. So I'm very proud of what we have and the way they're working. So if you happen to see a maintenance worker or a custodian, please give them an attaboy and show some appreciation, because they really, really have worked hard.
Thank you.
Carrie, you had.
Yes, our professional development, our 2 days were very, very successful. Kevin articulated a lot of what we did, but I just had the privilege of working with our IAs and SSAs in a 2.5-hour training that we did, both for the elementary group and then the OIS group. And just such an incredibly dedicated group of professionals, engaged and ready to support our students. They are such an integral part of our students' learning. And so I just felt really privileged to be with them and look forward to working with them in the future.
Great.
Yeah, and I could just wrap up here. I was able to visit a number of the trainings, the PD sessions, and I was in with Carrie for a little bit. Just such a great, you just created such a powerful 2.5 hours is a long time with a small group, but they were in and out of the room doing various kinds of things. And I think, when you bring people to tears, that's okay. It's okay, Carrie. It was good. It's very powerful and very, very meaningful. I think it'll really help them through the year. We had a great new employee orientation right in this room, and we had everyone who we hired was able to show up, and it was great. So we had 35 people here. I have to give a shout out to Kelly Cooper. She's part of the Village of Two People, but we have all our supporting cast of principals and directors who help us bring forth really, really excellent candidates who were able to, they're rock stars, as we say. We only hire rock stars, and these people are now rock stars.
That's good.
And then our first day on Friday, our big kickoff, Aida presented just such an inspirational opening for us. And I was able to follow with our just some words about that it's about all of us together, and we can't do it unless we're all working together. And just sort of that teamwork is so important. And did introduce all our new employees, and it was really great. Principals came up and they had their whole staff there, and then we went into our years of service recognition, and we went through increments starting at 5 years up to 30 years. And so with our class of 2018, we had 19 individuals there. We go up to year 30. Jim Bartleman, our rock star, comes up at year 30. And so it was really great to present him with his 30-year pen.
That's amazing.
And so it was really just lots and lots of fun.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's great.
That's it for our updates.
Great. I know it's been summer, but do any board members have updates, Katie?
I have a short one, I guess, which is I did get to go to the new employee orientation in Popeye. That was so exciting, and everybody was here. It was a great way to kick it off. And then I got to be at the OUSD kickoff, and I just want to say thank you to everybody here, but also people who are not here. It had a really positive atmosphere. I've been to some of those in a work life situation, and they don't have that same welcoming feel. It's really nice. And lastly, just I can't believe school starts tomorrow. I'm not ready for school to start tomorrow as a parent, but it is. And I've heard a few times here, well, during the summer we did this. Summer was not even long. It was like a week long in my mind. So it was done. It was remarkable across the board. Curriculum, facilities, HR, just really fabulous. So thank you.
I'll just say I'm very ready for school to start. I don't have a ton to update on. I have a couple of things coming up this week, including a board coffee at Del Rey. And then we have our workshop for the board. We will be moving out the 2x2 meeting probably to September, so working on the new date. That's the meeting with the city. But yeah, getting back into it, and thank you to everyone here for all the amazing work that was done over the summer. I'm kind of wandering through just Sleepy Hollow on a Saturday, and there were so many people working there finishing stuff up. It was clear that the teams were really trying to make everything happen in time. So solid as well.
Yeah, big thank you to everybody for putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, even the ones who aren't here. So thank you. We're very fortunate to have you all on the team. And I have a board coffee with Eve at Del Rey later this week and next week, coordinating council with Hillary. And happy first day of school year. Yay, let's go.
Right. I really don't have too much to add. We have had one emergency bus meeting over the summer. So I always have to talk about the buses.
Yes.
And there's just ongoing discussion, funding discussion. It would be great. Orinda does benefit tremendously from our bus partnership. We have more bus routes in Orinda than Moraga or Lafayette, and that helps alleviate the terrible traffic we have getting kids from the Sleepy Hollow area all the way to OIS. But it does a lot for the kids too to ride the bus, and if we could expand the program, I think there are a lot of benefits to that. But I know the superintendents are meeting and trying to figure out if something is possible or not. But it's really a privilege to be part of the Loma Linda School Bus Transportation Authority, and we're really unique. There's only one other area that has anything similar for school bus transportation. Most areas just don't have it. So we're really, really lucky that we have it. Hopefully it'll get off to a great start this school year too. And yes, thank you to everybody. I know, Stuart, you've been working really, really hard all summer, and Kevin, and I know that it sounds like the summer school program, Carrie, was terrific. And it just seems like, as everyone said, there's just been so much going on. So thank you to everyone for making all of our schools as magnificent, amazing places as they are, and super excited for this school year. I know it's going to be terrific. So Thank you. So I guess with that, we should move on to the consent calendar. Items listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine or acted on by the Board of Trustees in one motion. Let's see if I can get this to move back. Oh, it went away. Come back. Really? Why does it do that to me? Okay. Try again.
You want to share?
There is no discussion of these items before the board vote unless a member of the board, staff, or public requests an item to be discussed and/or removed from the consent calendar. It is understood that the administration recommends approval of the consent items. Each item on the consent calendar approved by the board shall be deemed to have been considered in full and adopted as recommended. So with that, is there anything anyone would like to remove from the consent calendar? And if not, would someone like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar?
This is Eve. I move that we approve the consent calendar.
Got a second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so the consent calendar is approved unanimously. And that brings us down to the final thing on our agenda. Future agenda items, we did move the Wagner Ranch Nature Area to September. And I know we have a list of other future agenda items. And then, is there anything anyone else thinks should be on the future agenda items? Okay. And if so,
Yeah, I think we had, sorry, I'm just looking at this, and I think we had talked at some point about bringing some of the Basque updates either sometime this fall, so I don't know if we picked a particular month, but maybe just add to.
the Basque updates.
Yeah,
Maybe when we do the food service report, we could do a Basque report in October.
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay. So we'll try to add that in. Do you get that, Angel? Okay, great. And then if there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
This is Katie. I make a motion that we adjourn.
This is that second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, thank you all. I'm sorry I bumbled a little bit in certain places, but great meeting and appreciate it. And
Not at all.
moving on to a great school year. So thank you all.